Hi friends, in this video we are going to see how to dockerize and run a GPU intense gaming application which is 0AD, this is going to use my GPU for rendering, and then my audio driver and also my regular X11 display. So here you can see I'm able to play the game without any issues. I am able to hear the audio, and also the video is very clear, and all these are running in a Docker container. Let's see how to achieve this, friends. So in my local I don't have any containers running and no images. So in the browser I will show you the architecture of Nvidia Docker. So this is their GitHub, and here they have the architecture of what we are going to achieve shortly. So this is a container toolkit that we have to install now. So here is my GPU in my system, and I have my host. This is my host server, and in the host OS I have CUDA driver. So I will show you that. Once I install it, I will get when you run this command, you will see what is the processor name and what the usage, what processors are using it, and then the memory. This is a 6 GB memory. So all these things it will be listed only if the driver is installed. So where is the driver? It is Nvidia driver 440. So this is the driver which is installed in my machine. apt search. So this will show you what all is installed. So I have X server xorg video Nvidia 440 which is installed automatically, and then Nvidia driver 440 is also installed. So once these two are installed, then only in my machine I can have the driver for my GPU, and I can run the GPU intensive programs. So that is in the host machine, and over that I have my Docker engine running. Now I want some toolkit which I am going to install shortly. This toolkit will be able to access, once this is installed, then only my containers will be able to access this GPU via my Docker engine. So let's install this Nvidia container toolkit. So this is the procedure to install Nvidia container toolkit. So after I install, if I run this command, run this container, so this image is having this command nvidia-smi command. So before I install, I will run and explain you what is happening, and then we will see what is happening after we install the toolkit. So it is pulling the image, and then it will run nvidia-smi command. Let's give it some time. So now you can see error response from daemon nvidia container runtime hook executable file not found. Okay, so now let's install this driver and see what is happening. So I'm going to install the toolkit. I'm going to follow the documentation here. Just copy paste all these 4 commands. So I'm getting the distribution. I'm adding the key to install Nvidia container toolkit, and I'm adding the repository here in the file apt, and then I'm going to run sudo apt update and install container toolkit, Nvidia container toolkit. And guys, this will work only in Nvidia graphics card. If it is for some other graphics card, then there will be some other procedure. I have to restart the Docker once this is done. So I'm going to restart the Docker. daemon, and then I'm going to run this command once again. So this is going to create a container for me, and then I'm going to pass all the GPUs in my whatever available in my host to this container, and then start a container with this image, run this command. So now you can see the output, which is just similar to whatever I have run in my host machine. So both are almost similar. You can see the same graphics card name and then the memory available. So these processes are not running inside the container. That's why you are not able to see anything inside this container process list. Okay, so now we have our we have enabled the power for my our Docker engine to access the GPU. Now let's get into action. Let's create an image which is our 0AD gaming application. So to have that, we need a Docker file, right? So let's use NVIDIA OpenGL Docker base image. So I will go to the Docker hub and see what tags are available. So I am interested in Ubuntu. As you know, I am my favorite OS is Ubuntu. So I am going to use this runtime Ubuntu 18.04 Docker file. Let me explain this. What is inside this Docker file? So they are just going to take Ubuntu 18.04 and then install libgl vnd0, libgl1, libglx0, libegl1, libgles2. These softwares they are going to install and then add some JSON file. Let's see what is there in the JSON file. So in this JSON file they have mentioned version of the file and then library path which NVIDIA needs to refer. So I think this is very simple. So we are going to use this image only. So I don't want to hide anything. Like you have to understand what image we are using and what is inside. So we will use this image 1.0 glvd and create a Docker file. So this is the Docker file where we have the same whatever I showed you just before, and then enable the non-interactive mode so that when we install any GUI application, it will not prompt for the time interactively asks for some input. So we have disabled that, and then just do apt update and install 0AD software, that is the gaming application. And this application will not allow user to run directly as root user. So we have to create a user. I'm just creating a user called apps and then switching to that user and then run the game command. This is where the OAD got installed, is going to get installed. So I'm going to run this command. So I don't have anything else in this. So I'm going to build the Docker image, docker build -t 0AD:0.1, and this is going to pull the image and install all our components. So meanwhile I will show you how we are going to run the image container. So we have to create a Docker run with a name. I will say 0AD, and then in previous session we learned how to mount or share the display, right? We have to mount or we have to share temp x11 Unix to the container in read only, and then we have to share an environment variable display equal to $display. So I have explained all these things in the previous video on GUI X11 display by running a GIMP application, which is a editor, image editor. So if you want to see that image, if you want to see that video, you will understand these two parameters what I am pausing here. I highly recommend you guys to view that video before you continue with this. So let's see what is happening here. It is downloading the images. It is added the repository and it is downloading all the images to to install. So all these dependencies are there: sound, VT, etc. So I will pause the video. So once installation is done, we will continue with the tutorial. Package download is done. It is now unpacking all the packages and setting it up. The software is getting installed. It should be done in a few seconds. Once it is done, we will trigger the command here. So the image, we know it is 0AD:0.1. Yeah, it is done now. You can see the image got created. Docker images. So images got created. So we need to run xhost plus so that it will allow all the clients. So to understand this, you have to see the previous video. So this is the client which we are going to access, which we are going to run, which is going to access the X server, which is our local host X. So in last video we passed only these two arguments. So I'm going to try with these two arguments now. I'm going to hit enter and see what is happening. So as you can see, it is telling some problem with sound. So sound device should be shared. That's why we are getting sound. It is giving some error. So let's see how to add sound device, how to redirect sound from host machine to the container. So we have to say device/dev snd. So in /dev snd we have the device entries for sound. So we have to share all these device entries. Along with this, we have to add audio. So only if we add all these things, it will run, redirect sound, that error message will go. So now let's try with this. Okay, now we can see sound, success message for sound, but it is telling libgl error, no match found. So here we have redirected the display, but still we are getting this error message because the application whatever we are trying to start is GPU intense. We have to pause our GPUs here. So I will share my GPUs from my host machine to the container. I'm going to share all the GPUs. If you want to share only one, if you have multiple GPUs and if you want to share only one GPU, you can mention the ID. It will start from 0, 1, 2. So you can pass 0 if you want to give only one GPU assigned to the container. Here I have only one GPU, so I can pass 0 or all. So I'm going to pass 0 as argument and then hit enter. Now you can see the game got started along with audio without any issues. So this is how we have to start a container and use the GPU. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and learned something new from this video. Just let me know in the comment if you want to have or share anything, or if you face any issues, you can just let me know so I can try to explain all those things. Thank you guys.